If you run a pest control business at scale, your P&L probably says you're profitable, but your bank account feels like there's a leak you can't quite find. Pest control owners do this every year. You build a budget in January, you mostly stop looking up by April, and every cash squeeze gets explained as a one-time issue. But the problem isn't your math. It's that your budget is built on averages. And averages hide what's actually happening on your routes. Today, I'm going to show you how to turn that static spreadsheet into a decision-making system. Most owners tell me we had a bad month because fuel spiked, or a truck went down, or callbacks got out of hand. And those things are real. But when every variance gets explained away as an exception, the budget stops being a tool and starts becoming a story to tell yourself. In a $2 to $5 million a year pest control business, these aren't exceptions. They're part of operating in the field. A real budget doesn't just track what happened, it tells you why it happened by documenting the assumptions you made about your fleet before the year even started. And every budget is a collection of beliefs, such as you believe annual churn will be around 20%. You believe chemical waste will sit near 6%. You believe techs will average 10 stops a day. Budgets feel useless because those beliefs are rarely written down. When assumptions aren't documented, you can't tell the difference between a market shift and a planning mistake. If churn jumps from 20% to 40%, that's not a small miss. That fundamentally changes how much revenue you need to sell just to stay even. Your budget should help you see that early and not surprise you after the fact. In a route-based business, revenue isn't one big number. It's driven by 4 levers: price, density, churn, timing. Most pest control owners focus on new sales, but once you're at scale, churn is often your biggest hidden expense. If you're doing $5 million and churn doubles from 20 to 40%, you're not just losing customers, you're forcing the business to replace millions in revenue just to run its place. Your budget needs to treat churn as a structural input, not a background metric. This is where pest control businesses usually break. They budget using average cost per tech, but a veteran tech on a tight neighborhood route produces very different margins than a newer tech covering long distances in a growing territory. When you rely on blended averages, your strongest routes quietly subsidize your weakest ones. Everything looks fine on paper until one tough hiring decision or one expansion push exposes how thin the margins really are. That's why top-down budgeting eventually fails in a route-based business. The fix, however, is a bottoms-up budget approach. It's uncomfortable because it forces real questions, like how many stops per day did we assume each route would run? What labor burden did we build the budget on, including taxes, insurance, and drive time? What level of callbacks did we assume was normal? A top-down budget feels clean because it's theoretical. A bottoms-up budget feels messy because it reflects how the work actually gets done. When the numbers don't match the story, that's not a problem, it's the signal. So here's a simple exercise to make this practical. Export your fiscal year P&L from QuickBooks, wherever you have it stored. Add one column for your budget numbers and add another column to the right labeled your operational assumptions. That assumptions column is where you document what you believe when you built the budget. Target churn rate, expected route density, assumed tech productivity. Just some examples. You're not revising the budget each month, you're preserving the thinking behind it. And later, when reality differs, you can clearly see whether the business changed or whether the original assumptions were off. That's what turns a budget into a real decision-making tool. Budgets don't fail because pest control owners don't care. They fail because the model doesn't reflect the messiness of the field. So if shifting from pure accounting to thinking in operational systems makes sense to you and this video has helped you at all, please hit that like button to help support this channel. I'm currently finalizing a pest control stress test framework designed to help you spot margin leaks before the busy season hits. So if there's a pain point, like tech labor, chemical costs, route density, that you want me to include, drop it in the comments below. Stop using your budget to reassure yourself. Start using it to protect your margin. And if you want a route profitability framework that shows you how to spot problem routes in about 5 minutes, check out the video linked above. It includes a free route profitability calculator that you can copy and apply to your business immediately.